What if one of America's biggest economic vulnerabilities isn't oil, tariffs, or even automobiles, but the decisions millions of Canadians make about where they travel and where critical medicines are produced? The ripple effects could reach airlines, hotels, logistics companies, pharmacies, and even the vehicles rolling off North American assembly lines. Welcome back to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Today, we're uncovering how shifting tourism patterns, evolving pharmaceutical supply chains, and uncertainty surrounding cross-border trade are quietly rewriting the rules of North American commerce, and why the biggest consequences may still lie ahead. Number 5. Global tourism battle. Billions in spending up for grabs. Competition for tourists has become as intense as competition for manufacturing plants. Nations are pouring money into airports, cruise terminals, highways, rail links, and hospitality projects to capture billions in visitor spending and long-term investment. Travelers now weigh exchange rates, airfare prices, convenience, and consumer confidence alongside attractions when choosing destinations. For automotive enthusiasts, these shifts matter more than they might appear. Every vacation fuels demand for rental fleets, airport shuttles, rideshare vehicles, gasoline stations, and maintenance services. A surge or decline in visitors changes vehicle utilization rates and fleet replacement cycles. Manufacturers and suppliers also monitor tourism because stronger travel markets can boost demand for commercial vans, buses, and support vehicles. The lesson is simple. Economic competitiveness today depends not only on factories but also on attracting people, capital, and mobility-driven activity. But macroeconomic trends only tell part of the story. To understand the real impact, we have to look at how traveler behavior itself is changing. And nowhere is that more evident than in Canada. Number 4. Canada's travel shift. Why U.S. businesses are watching closely. Canadian travel patterns remain under close scrutiny because Canadians have historically been among the largest international contributors to the U.S. tourism economy. Their spending supports hotels, retailers, restaurants, entertainment venues, and transportation businesses across numerous states. Following periods of elevated trade friction and changing public sentiment, cross-border travel softened from historic levels before showing signs of stabilization in some markets. Airlines have responded by reallocating aircraft and refining route networks, while tourism agencies continue encouraging Canadian visitors to return. For the automotive world, these trends ripple through rental car operators, fuel retailers, parking operators, toll roads, repair shops, and dealerships serving seasonal visitors. Regions such as Florida, Arizona, Michigan, New York, and Maine have long benefited from Canadian travelers who often stay for extended periods. Like tuning an engine for changing road conditions, businesses are adapting strategies as consumer preferences evolve, demonstrating how mobility patterns can influence far more than just vacation destinations. Yet tourism is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Another sector with enormous cross-border dependence could have even greater consequences for everyday consumers. Number 3. Drug supply chains. The hidden link America can't ignore. The pharmaceutical sector offers another reminder that North America functions through deeply integrated supply chains. Canadian facilities help manufacture or process medications used by U.S. hospitals, pharmacies, and healthcare providers, supporting treatments for cardiovascular disease, infectious illnesses, mental health conditions, and many other needs. Unlike assembling vehicle components, relocating pharmaceutical production is an exceptionally slow process. New plants require years of regulatory review, equipment calibration, workforce training, and quality validation before medicines can safely reach patients. Industry leaders generally support expanding domestic capacity, but caution against abrupt transitions before replacement facilities are fully operational. There is also an automotive parallel. Just as automakers diversify suppliers for engines, semiconductors, transmissions, and battery materials to reduce disruption risks, pharmaceutical companies seek resilient production networks. Redundancy often improves reliability when transportation interruptions, natural disasters, or policy shifts occur. For consumers, these discussions illustrate that decisions affecting trade and manufacturing can have consequences extending well beyond the showroom floor or the highway. And that brings us to perhaps the biggest structural issue of all, the trade framework that ties these industries together across North America. Number 2. USMCA review, the trade decision that could reshape manufacturing. One of the biggest stories of June 2026 is the renewed focus on the upcoming review of the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. For the automotive industry, this is especially significant because engines, transmissions, batteries, aluminum, steel, and countless other components often cross borders several times before a vehicle reaches the showroom. Any policy shift could influence manufacturing costs and sourcing decisions. In response, many companies are expanding supplier networks or investing in additional production capacity to improve resilience. Infrastructure such as the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Windsor and Detroit reinforces how vital cross-border logistics remain. The broader takeaway is that North America's industrial integration is still remarkably deep, even as businesses prepare for an evolving trade landscape. Before we reveal the #1 development, take a second to like this video and subscribe to Piston Pundit. It helps us bring you more in-depth automotive analysis and ensures you never miss our latest vehicle updates. Now, with all of these trends converging, they point toward one overarching conclusion that extends far beyond tourism or trade alone. #1. The real winner. Why supply chain resilience changes everything. Tourism and pharmaceuticals may seem unrelated, but they share the same lesson. Resilient supply chains are becoming a competitive advantage. The automotive sector proves this perfectly. Modern vehicles depend on globally sourced semiconductors, drivetrains, electronics, raw materials, and specialized manufacturing expertise spread across multiple countries. To reduce risk, automakers are diversifying suppliers, expanding production footprints, and building greater flexibility into their operations. Governments are encouraging domestic investment while preserving valuable international partnerships that keep industries moving. For consumers, these changes may gradually affect vehicle prices, parts availability, and future investment rather than creating one dramatic headline. The defining story isn't disruption alone. It's how businesses and policymakers are adapting to strengthen North America's economic foundations for the years ahead. So, when you step back and look at the entire picture, one theme stands above the rest. Final verdict: the quiet transformation reshaping North America. When you connect the dots between tourism, pharmaceuticals, trade policy, and manufacturing, a much larger story comes into focus. Resilience is becoming one of North America's most valuable assets. Companies are no longer focused solely on cutting costs, they're also investing in diversified suppliers, flexible logistics, and backup production capacity to better withstand future disruptions. The automotive industry perfectly illustrates this shift as modern vehicles rely on engines, transmissions, semiconductors, batteries, aluminum, and thousands of components sourced through complex international networks. For consumers, these changes could gradually influence vehicle prices, parts availability, travel demand, healthcare logistics, and long-term investment decisions. As governments and businesses adapt, the balance between domestic production and cross-border cooperation will remain a key debate. Now we'd love to hear from you. Do you believe North America should prioritize self-sufficiency or stronger regional integration? Will shifting Canadian travel patterns have lasting effects on the US economy? How could future trade policies reshape the automotive sector? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, subscribe to Piston Pundit and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest vehicle updates and industry insights. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. You can now check out any of the videos on your screen. There's plenty more to explore.